Oh, yeah. We back. Right, Rob? We back.
We are, my friend. We are.
Why are we here today, Rob?
So, interesting thing happened, right? Interesting thing. Last week we shot a video about, and I mentioned something in passing.
No, can we say we didn't shoot a video? We had a podcast.
Oh, we had a podcast.
Where Rob was our guest.
Right.
And we spoke about things that were pertinent in the real estate industry.
Right. Oh, there you go.
All right.
That's right. That's right. We shot about it. We touched on some important topics in the real estate
industry. We touched
industry.
a nerve.
Right. But we really did touch a nerve. That we did.
A good nerve, though. It was good.
It's interesting because, of course, this is my first time ever doing this.
Right.
And the level of engagement that we got based on the fact that I compared the Bronx to the Queens marketplace.
Oh, man.
Shocking, right?
You talked about, what is, you got that three-family?
So I compared three-family to three-family.
No,
right?
Where's the one you got?
The one that we have is, so there's 1145 Theriot Avenue. Which
the one in Queens.
Oh, no, well, the one in Queens was 198th Street in Jamaica.
So that set off, people like, how dare you compare that to the Bronx, Rob?
Right.
What is your problem?
Right.
Richmond. No, you compared Richmond Hill to the Bronx. How dare you?
I'm just
kidding. I'm just kidding. Everyone out there, you guys were so gracious, and I think you guys made some valid points.
I think it was valid, but I also think I think that a lot of people said a lot of things that they didn't think about when it came to numbers, right? So
I think they're also thinking about the Bronx from the 90s, like Death Wish 4.
I feel like that would just be insane.
What was the guy that used to roll up in
Bronson.
People are thinking the Bronx is that. The Bronx is not that.
If people still think that, have you never been to the Bronx Zoo? Have you never been to the Botanical Gardens?
Right.
Have you never been to Yankee Stadium?
Right.
There are so many various landmarks in the Bronx. I was speaking with somebody that's from South Ozone Park, one of my clients.
Yeah.
She brought her child to the Botanical Gardens on Sunday for an event.
Yeah.
And, have you never been to Arthur Avenue? There's so many great spots.
It's funny you said that. The Bronx Zoo and the Botanical Gardens, we're members of the Bronx Zoo.
Right.
And it is one hell of an experience. I don't think I've ever finished the entire zoo.
I don't think it's meant to finish number one.
I get to one beer garden, and then I just hover around that beer garden.
Only you would find a beer garden in a child's play area. Only you would know where the beer garden is.
About 3. I gotta love the Bronx Zoo for that, man.
But I don't know how you do it, because when you're walking around in the Bronx Zoo and it's hot, my God, man. It is no joke.
Please.
You are really getting your sweat on.
Oh my God, no, it's a real workout.
Yeah,
you get your steps in.
Yeah, you get.
And thank God for the tram. So let's talk about tenants.
Right.
And so I'm going to talk about the direct deposit myth, right? Because people acting like Section 8 voucher is a red flag. People get all bent out of shape about this stuff when it's actually the closest thing a landlord has to a black card.
I concur. I absolutely concur with you. Right. And I'll tell you why I believe that. I think number one, I think that every landlord has some kind of bad experience at some point in time with a tenant, right?
Of course.
And I think that can kind of give a tenant a whole group a black eye, which is incredibly unjust.
That's right.
Right? Which is incredibly unjust. And I think that even if it doesn't happen to them, I think that they hear a horror story.
Yes.
But I think that a lot of times people just eat the fact that they have cash-paying tenants that sometimes default on rent as well.
And that's the funny thing.
Hold on, Mike.
Yeah, sorry.
By eat, I'm not saying that the landlord eats it. What I'm saying is that people just don't talk about it.
That's right.
Right? People are quick to bash people that are on these subsidies who are good,
great people,
hardworking people that deserve equality on all levels, right? They deserve to be viewed on all levels equal. But what I'm saying is that what we see here, what we hear, is that one particular group, from one particular thing, that person defaulted because they might have lost their job, they might have fallen on hard times, they might have whatever. Right. But at the end of the day, everybody is equal when it comes to how they pay their rent.
That's right.
Right? That is our view. That is what we look at. That is what it is. And when it comes to a lot of the things that we saw online, some of the engagement was really constructive. Some of the engagement was very alarming, was very interesting. Some of the engagement was just blatant hate, right? It was just blatant hate.
I'm never coming back to the Bronx.
Right. I'm never
People who used to live here back in the 80s, I'm never going back.
Right.
Because probably their memories of the Bronx was tough.
I grew
up in Brooklyn in the 80s, the 70s. It was rough.
My friend, the people talk about Long Island City today like it's this beautiful oasis of buildings, of luxury buildings and restaurants. Long Island City 25 years ago.
You didn't want to stop your car.
You could stop the car.
You didn't want to stop
your car. It was almost
car.
like a sundown town, right? It was almost like a sundown town, right? Long Island City, right?
Yes.
You're talking about, right now what we're watching happening in the Bronx is the same thing that's happened across, and it's the best part of gentrification.
Absolutely.
Right? People talk about gentrification in a terrible way.
Gentrification gets a bad rap. And I remember as a kid growing up in Brooklyn, again, my Brooklyn references, my mom, she used to wear a lot of jewelry, Panamanians.
Right, Panamanian, West
jewelry,
Indian.
Gold teeth.
Right.
And so my mom would wear a headband and sweatbands around her wrist so they wouldn't see her bracelets.
Right.
And when the gentrification started to happen, when Giuliani started to happen, when they had, you got a ticket for drinking on the street, she felt safer.
She felt safer, right? She
lost, she got rid of the wristbands. She got rid of the neck bands. And I think the same thing is happening in the Bronx where people feel safer.
Right. Look, I'm 45 years old. And I was in the Bronx until I was 34 with my family, and I got married at that time. And there was a time where I felt unsafe. As a kid, we used to sneak out of our house. I grew up on Allerton Avenue, right? 16
sneaking
years
out your house at 1 o'clock in the morning.
16 years old, we're sneaking out. We used to walk the streets, me and my friends, right? I grew up on Allerton Avenue, right off of Lurding Avenue. We would be in these neighborhoods. Now, granted, every place has their rough area.
Absolutely.
Right?
Every place.
Every place has a rough area. But what we came to speak about today was what they talked about, what we saw online. 9,000 people spoke about various things, but a lot of it was negative.
The quality. The number one comment was the quality of the tenant here in the Bronx.
How do you know?
Right. And you know what's funny about that? No one talks about, the Google executive who just stops paying his rent.
Look at this rapper, Tiger, right? The guy was sued for $250,000 for rent,
Tiger.
right?
Sorry, Tiger.
Right. This rapper, right? Now, look, we're not saying we know anything about the case.
No, nothing about it.
All we know
no connection.
What was presented to us in the media.
That's right.
And what we heard was that this guy owed $250,000 in rent, right? And who would think, right? What's his credit score, right?
What's Tiger's credit score?
Right?
You have a 750, Tiger? Sorry.
But my question is, who have you met? There are people that you know in your circle. I guarantee you here today, if you are a bred and born New Yorker and you have friends and family from New York that live in these buildings, there are people that you know, love, and trust that are on some kind of government subsidy, and you don't know it.
Absolutely.
Right? You don't know it.
And you shouldn't know it. You shouldn't be walking around with it on their chest.
It's not your business. There's no scarlet letter here.
That's right.
But what I'm saying is that everybody that reached out to us and said, hey, I think that those tenants would be XYZ, right, in a bad way or in a poor way. I'm going to say you're talking about your aunt that's currently not working. You're talking about your buddy's mom that, is sick and needs some kind of help, right? These are good people, right? We may, and in every populace, we're going to have the rough ones.
Every populace.
Right?
That's
we're going to have
point.
the rough ones, right?
And one thing I want to, because we've been here from, like you said, you grew up here,
right?
80s, 70s. You watched the transition, or should we say the neighborhood glow up?
The neighborhood glow up, that's the young hip thing. I mean, it's like, right? If that's what we're saying, not like so bro.
It's not the 1970s anymore, man.
I mean, if people are thinking that, how old are these people? That's number one.
Right. What are their references of the Bronx?
What are their reference of the Bronx?
Oh, their mom told us, crazy story about the Bronx is burning and stuff like that.
So I'm going to say this, right? You live in a suburb. I live in a suburb. Both of us live in suburbs, right? Yeah. And I'm going to say that when I was 9 years old and my older sister was 14, younger. My older sister was 13 and I was 8. That's when we attended St. Lucy's parochial together, right? We would walk home.
You walk home?
We would walk home, right? We would walk home. We would walk from St.
No one picked you up.
Nobody picked us up.
Like in the suburbs, you
right.
Pick up the damn.
It's I don't know how these people do it.
In the drive lines,
right.
It's nuts in the suburbs.
Right. I'm going to say this. I don't want to get too off topic here, but I'm going to say this. I don't know how so many dual parents pick up their kids from school every day. It is beyond me that at my daughter's school, when I go to pick her up, both the mom and the dad are there. She's been at that school for 5 years. And so, some of these people, it's 3 to 4 days a week.
Just a side note that drives my wife crazy. When both parents go to pick up the kids.
Right.
She's like, why are you both here?
Right. What do you people do?
Are you both sick today?
Yeah. What do you people do for a living?
Side note.
But anyway, that was a side note. But
you walked home as a kid.
Right. We walked home.
That's right.
Right. Never a problem. My sister and I walked home, right? We walked home from...
And this is the 90s.
Right, and this was the
80s.
90s. This is the 90s, right? This was the 90s. No, I was 8 years old, so this is 88.
Wow.
Right? This is 88. My older sister is 5 years older than me. And so the two of us would walk home together. I was 8, she was 13. We would walk from the corner of Mace Avenue and Bronxwood to our home on Learning Avenue. Maybe half a mile.
In Gun Hill.
Right? No, on Allerton.
Allerton, sorry.
But, and this is to a point, we would walk right by every single day. We would walk by PS 85, right, which is a school that is attached to a NYCHA housing complex.
Right.
Never any problem.
You walked by it.
Right.
I'm sure you could do the project some days. No problem.
Some days we'd go play in that park.
That's right.
Right? We'd go do this. We'd go do that. Everybody could not be more kind.
Yeah.
Never a bad experience. So that's why I'm just letting people know that are listening to this, that had listened to our previous podcast.
Absolutely.
I want them to know that you know people that are on those things. Yeah. You know somebody, and these are still good people.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. Like you said, they're your uncles. They're your sister's colleague, you know, someone that you went to college with that got hurt and couldn't work full-time anymore. They need help.
They need help, and there's nothing wrong with that.
And there should be no scarlet letter about it. I love what you said there.
There's nothing wrong with that. You and I, everybody that can afford to pay taxes, we pay our taxes, and it has to be given back out to the public in some way. And I'm okay if that old lady needs a little bit of help to live. Absolutely. I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly fine with that, you know, so.
You know, and the other thing about, you know, tenant quality and all that stuff is really just screening. It's like, how do you screen them, right? And the screening reality check is how to screen quality without catching a lawsuit, right?
Bring in a realtor, period.
Bring in a realtor, right?
Bring in a realtor.
Everything should be digital,
right?
Like we use Waymark.
Right.
So it's not like we're collecting the documents and then showing one landlord, you know, one pay stub and not the other, or right? Everything is into a portal.
Yeah.
And we share that with the landlord. And I think that also helps from scams.
And that also, the tenant is made aware that that's going to be shared.
That's right.
Right? Everything is disclosed,
That's
right?
Full transparency.
Right, full transparency. Because why? Because the landlord has a business.
That's right.
Right? You are going to be part of that business now. He has a right to collect rent.
That's right.
Right? So as far as it goes, we hear a lot of things, and look, this is not a political opinion, but we hear a lot of things about right to home ownership, about right to places to live. Right. We hear a lot of things in the media. And look, I believe everybody deserves the same and equal rights.
That's right.
If that landlord...
A place to live.
Right?
Everyone deserves a quality place to call home.
100%. And if you can get that through a city subsidy, right, and the landlord has the right to be compensated for that.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
You know, he has the right to be compensated for it. And, you know, look, at the end of the day, like we said, one point, if people take away from this today, what I want everybody that said something negative on that thing.
What is your one thing you want someone to take away?
Somebody you know is on it.
Yeah.
Somebody you know is on it. Somebody that you know is on Section 8, is on
City Febs.
City Febs.
Someone you know lives in the Bronx and they're good people.
What? Oh, well,
right? Because that was the thing too. They were like, why would you live in the Bronx? I would never live there.
We're at 2300 Eastchester.
That's right.
Come around.
That's right. 2300 Eastchester Road, Pelham Parkway. Come visit us. We would love that, man.
We absolutely would. Come and visit us. If you guys have some questions about the Bronx, we are here. The
weather's great now too. It's a great time to come to Pelham Parkway, stroll, go down to City Island, maybe go to the beach, Orchard Beach.
I mean, look, I'm not much of a beach guy. Right?
Are there any beaches in Queens?
Yeah, Rockaway, man. There's a lot of beaches.
That's not a real beach.
Yeah, see, now here we go.
Here we go. Sorry, Queens.
Here we go.
Rockaway Beach is not a real beach. All right. I don't even think it's in Queens. I think it's in Long Island.
Yeah.
Right? Now, Reese Beach, as a kid, we used to go to Reese Beach because I lived in Brooklyn. That was like a thing to do.
Right. In Brooklyn, I went to Manhattan Beach once, I believe.
That's not a beach either.
That's not a beach either?
No, I'm just kidding. Manhattan Beach is a beach. Coney Island, that's a whole nother
we went to Coney Island,
conversation that we'll save for a whole nother podcast.
Right.
That's going to open up some real emotion.
Right. But like we said, we're here at 2300 Eastchester Road. You need to find out about us. You need to find out about the Bronx. You have some questions. You want some comparisons, just reach out, man.
You know, and lastly, before we get off, I want to talk about the law. Right. And screening. And the law is clear on this. You cannot discriminate based on financial income, right? So, and where the money comes from. So whether it's a paycheck from Google or a voucher, it's your rent is paid on the first.
Right.
It does not matter. And I want to stress that because I think landlords today, when they do come to hire one of our agents, or not just us, but any agent in the agent pool out there, they'll come to you and say, you know what, Rob, I don't want any program.
Yeah, and then we have to say thank you, sir, but we don't work that way.
We don't work
that way. We have to walk away from you, and we just tell them straight up. We say, look, sir, what you're asking about is completely illegal, and we can be no part of it. We don't work in that direction because it's one besides the fact that it's illegal. Two, it's reprehensible. Right? It's reprehensible. It's a terrible moral.
I love Rob's vocabulary, man. Rob, you are so intelligent. I love talking to you.
It is just one of those things that it is a moral stance that we can't get behind. Because, when you work at Keller Williams, you go to any meeting, there's this long list of things.
Of compliance?
Right? Beyond compliance, it's like the win-win or no team thing, right? There's all of these things. Right. Our mission statements and all these things that we live by. It's code here. And if we get involved in that, it's just, what are we doing here? Right? We could go, there's so many other places that we could work that they'd say, look, don't walk away from the listing or don't do this or don't do that. But that's not here.
That's right.
Right? That's not here. So,
great point.
And I agree with you 100%. When those people come to us and they say, this won't work, right? When they come to us and they say, look, I want X, I want Y, I want Z, we say, look, it's not how we operate.
It's not how we operate.
Right? It's not how we operate. All right?
So I thank you. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the like button. Call Rob. Don't call me. I'm just the guy to him.
I wanted to just talk about the new upcoming podcast, Get Real with Rob.
That's right. Get Real with Rob. Let's go.
With Rob. So we're going to be talking about a lot of different things when it comes to real estate. We shot one episode yesterday. It's going to be released soon. And I'm going to be talking about some stuff in the Bronx. I'm going to be talking about some stuff in Lynbrook where I currently live and my family resides. And, they're just all great real estate areas. I mean, look, why did you get into real estate, Mike, before we go? Tell me why you got into real estate.
That's a great question. All right. So back in 2000, 2001, 2000, got out of college, and me and two of my other friends, we wanted to be investors.
Right.
And we thought that getting our real estate license and going that path would be the best path to do that. Shout out Omar and Kwame, my boys, right? We all got our license together. And we were really pushing each other to do that, right? And it was a great journey. It's been a great journey, And
you did exactly that.
I did exactly that.
You got your license. You're an investor.
I got to say something. This is a shameless plug to my mother-in-law, right? So my mother-in-law, she's probably going to watch this because she's one of my biggest supporters. When I met her, when my wife and I were just dating, I told her that I was going to buy real estate and we're going to make money in real estate at 19. Did not know that I would get my real estate license and get into this business and do that. And one day she's in my backyard and she's like, I guess you were right.
Right.
And I was like, oh, wow.
Well, I told you that the other day, too. I told you how proud I am of you. Recently your son traveled to go swim somewhere at your expense. And that's a big deal, man.
Deal.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal that you could do that for your kid.
Yeah.
That's a big deal that you were able to send your son to another state.
Absolutely.
Right? With your wife to go swim somewhere. Yeah. And, you want to call it blessing. You want to call it, what you did, your hard work. Whatever you want to call it is great. But it's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Thank you.
And I got into it because...
Yeah, why'd you get into it, Rob?
Because it puts us in everything. Yeah. It's one of the few jobs that put us in everything. Everybody needs a place to conduct business. Everybody needs a place to live. Everybody needs a place. Everybody needs a place. Whatever the end of that sentence is, we're right there in every
place for business, a place to live, a place to invest. Right? Everybody needs something.
Everybody needs a place.
Absolutely.
Right? So it's one of the things and we get to do good.
Yeah.
Right,
we get to
do
communities,
good, right? We get to do good.
Absolutely.
We get to be compensated for it, and when we go home at the end of the day, it's not like it's not like we're cops and we're dodging gunfire or firefighters or we're this or we're that. These guys have like sometimes when I'm on the phone in the car and I'm frustrated with a tenant, I commute a lot, right?
Yeah.
And I spend a lot of time. We all spend a lot of time in our cars.
In the cars, yeah.
Right. And in the summertime, I'm crossing the Whitestone sometimes, and I'm looking at these construction workers, and it's like 98 degrees, right? It's like 98 degrees. And I'm looking at these guys, and I'm on the phone, and I'm in the process of putting together
You're an air conditioner.
Right. I'm sipping my iced coffee.
Your latte.
Right? We don't go latte, Mike. We don't go that route. We go
no matcha? No matcha?
No matcha for me, buddy. I'm black coffee. But the fact of the matter is that, yeah, everybody, those guys make $100 an hour. They deserve it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They deserve it. Those guys deserve it, whatever they make, whatever they're being paid. Because if it's negative 10 degrees outside or if it's 90 degrees outside, those dudes are out there building that bridge. You know what I mean?
My buddy, he used to paint bridges. Like, he used to do bridge maintenance, and he would take the pictures, and he'd be like, the top. I'd be like,
that's a very special person.
You couldn't pay me $500 an hour to do that. And I think he's retired now.
Right.
Like, I think you have a very short work life with that kind of stuff.
I'm sure you do. I mean, the physical demand on your body alone, right? Climbing up and down those things. Like, I see those guys sometimes walking between those two wires on the bridge. And I'm just like, no matter how fastened you are, right?
No matter how many harnesses you have.
No matter how many harnesses you have, you got to be scared that you're not going to make it home to your kid that day. Right? A harsh wind breaks something.
A harsh wind, right.
All right, harsh wind, start raining.
And you're slipping and you end up in Hudson.
Right? Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So, yeah, but that's why.
We are very lucky.
We are. We really are. We're possession. And I leave it with this. We are positioned extremely well because we do business in the Bronx. That's why. Yep. Because you've got these people that are saying, look, the Bronx is terrible. And then you got the people, like I got investors that are like, get me in there, get me in there.
It's funny. All right, this is the last thing. Yeah. We did have an investor comment. He was like, all the investors are coming to the Bronx now. Because just the spreads.
And those guys that are coming to the Bronx now, they're behind the 8 ball, I would say, I don't know, 5 years?
Yeah.
Maybe a little longer. They're behind the 8 ball.
Totally.
Right? They're behind I would say you needed to be in the Bronx about 10 years ago for it to really be enriched. One guy I have that listened to me 10 years ago, and I could say his name on here. Shout out to Mohan Ramsey.
Yeah.
Right? Shout out to this guy. He listened to me 10 years ago. He was referred to me by my cousin.
Yeah.
And he bought one property in the Bronx. Right now, on that property, 10 years later, he's up a minimum of $700,000 in equity. That was his first property. He's up a minimum of $750,000.
That's crazy. One property in the Bronx.
Singular property. He's affected his net worth by $700,000 because
crazy.
He listened to me about that property.
And that's not the only one he's bought. He's bought others.
He's about 4 or 5 deep with me now.
Does he want to buy a 151 Summit? We got to talk.
All right.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Hit that subscribe, baby.
Yeah.
I didn't move that much this time.
No, you didn't.